try to make part 3 because it's fucking funny. So stupid. So Tim and I realized that we're still married legally, but it had been like 6 months. So I was thinking in my mind that I was divorced, and I hadn't even changed my name. I still had my maiden name. So me and Timmy are sitting here for 3 days going, well, what do we do now? So we call the therapist, the one he refused to go to before, and we call the therapist, and we ask the therapist, are we still married? And he's like, yeah, you're still married if you want to be. I mean, and I said, well, should we get a divorce? And Timmy was like, do I divorce her so I can marry her again? Because now at this point, we're back together because we just realized that we were still married. And it was the most confusing thing because it was like, we're divorced, so quit calling me. We're divorced, leave me alone. What do you need? We're divorced. I was always saying that, and we were still married. So it was happenstance. It was just by happenstance. We were in shock. And maybe that's why I don't know why he asked to see those. You know what? When he watches these, he'll probably tell me. It was like he was trying to get back together with me, so he used it as an excuse to see if it was really over, because we do that to each other all the time. Is it really over? Is it really, really over? And then when he did that, he realized we were still married, and then he went into shock, because we were literally sitting here in shock. Like, what do we do? You're a truck driver again. I don't want to do this. We're still married. And we still love each other. So what are we going to do now? He goes back out of the truck. Now, I have a job. I have a full-time job. Like, I work 6 days a week. I can't leave. I can call and cancel on all my clients for a month, but I can't, leave. Like, I have to make arrangements to leave. So he wants me to go with him. And I'm like, no, I can't. I have a life here. I have work. I have clients. So he gets pissed at me, and he goes back on the road. And now he's going to go to Canada. He's going to go to Canada. And he's going to show me that he could go to Canada all the time. And in between all this time, I didn't want to do hair anymore. I was just like, I'm tired of it. I work 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. The more I work, the more they want. It's never ending. These women are not giving me a break. They're referring me out like crazy. I cannot get a healthy schedule. I had Sunday off. That was it. And Monday morning, I had to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning. And this would go on until 10 o'clock at night. So, and I could never say no to them. They'd be like, please, please, could you put more highlights in? Or please, please, I want my hair red now. Or please, and it just got bigger and bigger. And I'm making all kinds of money, but I don't have a life. So I started smoking pot. Oh, Timmy hated that. He doesn't like that. So I was just like, I'm going to smoke a bunch of pot, like, all the time. Like, at night, I'm going to smoke pot. During the day, I'm going to smoke pot. I'm going to smoke pot on my day off. I'm going to smoke pot everywhere. I'm going to smoke pot. And it wasn't even legal. It was, like, illegal. So I decide that I'm going to start buying, like, huge amounts of marijuana, and I'm going to start selling it. I know. And so that really pissed him off. So he comes in one time, and he's like, getting high. And I was up in the room, and I was trying to get high before we went out to dinner because I could barely even stand being around him and my daughter. So I just was, like, trying to get high real quick so I could survive their onslaught. And when they get together, they make fun of me really bad, and I hate that. So I was trying to get high, and he came up to the room, and he was like, so that's your pipe, huh? You know, and he was making smart aleck remarks because Tim does not drink, and he just drank for the first time since he was 21. And he's, like, going to be 50. And he doesn't ever, ever, ever do, like, that's too much a hippie drug. So at this point, like, I'm selling. So then we break up again because he's going to Canada. And he drives really fast. And I call him Hobo Tim because he literally does not eat. He does not stop. He just keeps going. He pees in his little urine bottle, his Coca-Cola bottle with his penis, and he dumps it whenever. Sometimes there's like 10 bottles laying around. If I go into the truck and he doesn't know I'm going to go in there, they're all over the floor. It's disgusting with the lids on them. And they're just like rolling around. It's just, bleh. And so, because he refuses to stop, because he has to make more money. And it's like, okay. So he gets mad. We break up. And I'm like, whatever. I'm smoking a bunch of grass. I'm doing this like every night. I'm not smoking when I'm at work, but I'm smoking before I go to work. And then I'm smoking after work. Then I'm smoking. And so then my boss sends me to Puerto Vallarta. Well, I have to go there, don't I? By that time, I have a really young boyfriend, and he's really hot. And so we're working together. He's a massage therapist. And I'm like, ooh, this is perfect. Well, how did I know that his uncle ran a cocaine cartel? I didn't know that. So they show up to my house with guns. And I'm like, holy crap, I'm in really bad trouble. So I had like, I don't even want to tell you how much pot I had. I had a lot of pot. And people would come over to my house and get it. And I would be like, don't come to my house. I'll come to your house. So now I have like a full-time job. I have to drive around late at night and drop all this stuff off to people so I can make extra money. So that way I can quit my job. So I can just like take it easy and just be on a permanent vacation and deal with the likes of Tim Thomas. And so Tim's mad because I'm dating this guy. And I'm just like, what do you want me to do? Like, when we break up, I'm supposed to just sit here and wait for you? No way. I'm young. I'm going to have fun. So this guy leads me down a dark road. And I was so bummed out. And Tim would call me late at night. I'd be like, hello. He'd be like, hey, baby, what are you doing? And I was like, there's like 30 people in my house right now. I mean, that's how I was. And then I would get dressed, get up, and go to work. And then, so I put my notice in with my boss. I'm like, I'm done. And she's like, come back to Puerto Vallarta with me. Because when people get with me and have fun with me, they want to do it again. And she smoked pot, too. So, I could call her out right now by name, but I'm not going to do that because it'll ruin her business, even if it's legal. So I quit my job. And she had just walked down the beach in Puerto Vallarta with me, and she was like, I want to give you, like, Uber status here at the spa. And I was like, I don't want Uber status. And she's like, yeah, I want to give you Uber status because you're, like, the best. And I'm like, I know. And she was like, so, you know, if you would just get rid of this little boyfriend you have, the massage therapist that also worked for her, then, you know, we'll just make our move. And I was like, okay. Well, I'm going to drop him anyway. So as we're coming through the border from Puerto Vallarta, they arrested him. How did I know he was involved in a cartel? I didn't know that. He was so uber hot. Hispanic guy. He was just dreamy. And so he gets arrested at the border when we're coming in. I'm like, and so I see that he's being arraigned, and I'm like, what are the charges? So I run down and I slap a restraining order on this guy so he can't come back here. I mean, I didn't know if they're going to release him or what was going to happen. So I tell my boss, like, I've got to go. I can't deal with him being, if he's going to get out of jail, he's going to come back to work here. I'm going to be here. So I got to go. Like, this is getting way too heavy. And there was a bunch of details where, like, they showed up at my house with guns. And they weren't going to kill me, but I was being questioned by them. And I was just like, what did I do? So, you know, like, what did I do? Like, what did I really do? I didn't do anything. I didn't, like, do the thing that they were doing. So, but this always happens to me. Like, I'll get around people and they're total criminals, including the truck driver. So, I'm sitting here and I am in a hot mess. So, I get my pot pipe and I go outside and I smash it with my feet. And I'm just, like, crunching it and I'm so mad. And then I go back inside and I find another one. So then I'm like, okay, let me just get them all. So I went to all these little secret locations where I had them, all the vodka, all of it. I threw it all outside. And I was really mad. I was in the middle of, like, the cul-de-sac throwing these glass pipes because my life had come to, like, doing this all the time or go time. And this whole time, Tim's pissed at me. And so as soon as I quit, the very night that I did this, Tim calls me. Ring-a-ling. I had a pink phone. This guy has impeccable timing. And he's like, hey, baby girl. And I'm like, Tim, I think I've wasted my life. And I don't know, like with you and this whole thing we do and the drug and the nightmare and the kids and this guy I was with and now he's involved in the cartel and I think they're going to kill me, which they threatened to kill me if I didn't bail him out. Because I was only like, one of the guys was being tried for murder. His son was being investigated for fraud and attempted murder. And these are the guys that are like showing up at my house. And I don't even know that. Okay? I'm just oblivious. And so these guys kind of come around and they're like, you're going to have to do it because you have a clean record. And I'm like, I'm not getting him out of jail. And they're like, yes, you are. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Don't tell me what to do. And so he had his gun up in the armoire. And he pulls the gun out. And I'm like, what do you think you're going to do with that? And I just called his bluff. And so they walk outside and they get in their SUV. And this black guy was walking up to my house, who was a guy that lived across the way. And they beat him up. They literally grabbed him and beat him into a living pulp. Got in their SUV, all darkened windows, and boom, off to Brighton they go. Ooh. And this guy, this kid that I've known since he was a kid, was on the ground, totally beaten up. His mom comes flying out the door, and she's going to kill me. And I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Because they had just came in here, and I knew what they were doing. And so I called their bluff, and it worked. And I was like, I'm lucky my head didn't get blown off. Because they wanted to force me to get him out of jail. And I'm like, no, because they came in with a suitcase of money. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. Because if I got him out of jail, then I would be, like, responsible for him. And he was a weirdo. He used to drink bleach and stuff. It was so weird. Well, his parents died the same day, so it was kind of bad. But anyway, so my boss gets mad that I'm quitting. And I said, but you're going to let him come back. And if you let him come back, I'll be involved with him. And these guys are showing up at my house with these guns. And she's like, you're seriously not going to quit on me. And I'm all, yeah, I am. So I leave there. And Timmy calls me. And I go, Timmy, I got to get out of here. So here comes the diesel truck. And here we go and take off. Because Timmy's going to get me out of here. Because we don't know what these guys are going to do. To this day, I cannot drive into the city of Brighton. That's the pot story. That's the saving of Tim Thomas. Tim will scoop in when you least suspect him to. He will call that phone when you don't think you're ever going to hear from him. And he will show up, drive that diesel truck right up next to your house within hours. And pick you up and cart your butt right out of Dodge. I stayed out there for almost 40 days, and I didn't say a word for at least 30. I just cried, and Tim didn't say one word. We just sat in the truck and drove. And finally he pulled over at my Firefly place, and he said, Cindy, get out. I said, I don't want to get out. Get out. No, I don't want to get out. So I get out. I sit on the bench. And there were fireflies everywhere, and I cried for hours. And there's Tim Thomas standing next to the rest stop bathroom. Let me do my thing, you know what I mean? My dog Jimmy's jumping, he's trying to catch him. And for that, I owe Tim my life. But we still didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't know how. We didn't want to be together because being together meant we might fail. And we couldn't be apart because we couldn't stand being without each other. And we were best friends and we knew that. And we were soulmates and we knew that. But as soon as we got lovey-dovey, it all went downhill. And it happened every time. So this is the part 2 to part 3 to part 4. And I'm just going to keep on making it till we get to today. I love you.